The Samsung Ultra Galaxy Book 3 is probably the single best laptop that I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of laptops. High-end laptops, mid-range laptops, low-range laptops. I've used laptops for work, I've used laptops for gaming. This is the best one. Now, it wasn't a laptop that I had intended to purchase. My original intent was to get a Microsoft Surface. My second choice would have been a Razer. But when I went into the store, what I realized was that there was something absolutely stunning about the Samsung laptops, and it was the screen. The OLED screen was unlike anything I had ever seen. But that's really just what caught my attention. When I started to investigate further, I started to realize that Samsung had offered something that I had been looking for a long time. And keep in mind here that I was biased against Samsung because I bought their flip phone, I was very disappointed in it, I was very disappointed in the warranty support with it. So I really was going into it with low expectations and was profoundly impressed. So basically what Samsung does is it gives you what is essentially a MacBook that uses Windows and is capable of gaming. So it basically is getting rid of all the problems that I had, which was I like the capacity of being able to do gaming, video editing, etc. with powerful graphics, but often that comes in this big clunky, non-elegant gaming machine that's positioned for gamers, but not necessarily for professionals. Now, there are some books out there that are marketed towards graphic designers, like the ProArt series that attempt to alleviate that as well, but I really felt that Samsung had really nailed it with something that is incredibly slim, that is portable, has a stunning screen, really represents what a professional wants to represent while still having the power of gaming. Now, it's a very elegant design with this sort of graphite look. It is prone to fingerprints, which is one of the flaws or disappointments in this product for some people. For me, it doesn't really affect me because I use a portable wireless keyboard. I use a wireless Logitech mouse that match the laptop. Some other things to note is that it only has one USB port, so that would be a con. So what I use is I use an adapter that gives me an additional, what is it here, it looks like 7 additional ports that I use with USB 3. I use this for video recording, video editing, browsing, gaming. It's more powerful than the gaming laptop that I had previously, the HP Victus. Now, one of the other drawbacks of this laptop is that the price is very high, and that's probably why a lot of people haven't heard about it or haven't considered it. But when you use something like the refurbished versions on Amazon to get it, you can get an absolute stunning deal. If you use an educational discount, you can also get it at a very good price. And we're talking like a third of the price getting knocked off. So that's an excellent option for those of you that are trying to save money. The other thing that I would consider is that if you're trying to get a comparable laptop with another brand like Razer or Microsoft Surface, you're probably actually going to pay a lot more to get the same specs. Now, you will pay less to get the same specs with a different brand like some of the gaming brands, but there you're going to be compromising build quality. It's going to be made out of plastic. Also, you're not going to have the stunning screen with almost any other brand that you go with. So you're going to get that nice build quality that you expect from something like Apple, but not have to use the Apple OS if you're not used to it. I haven't had any problems with this laptop. I've been using it now probably approaching a year. There's really nothing going on. I mean, maybe there's some scratches somewhere that I haven't found yet. Even the software hasn't really been a problem at all using Windows. I haven't had, some people commented on bloatware. I haven't really noticed that with this device. I love the 16-inch screen. Now, for some of you, you're like, I don't want a big screen, a big, huge screen. But I'm telling you, once you actually see this thing in person, you're going to want that slightly bigger screen. 17 inch is maybe a little bit too big. 15 inch is a bit small. The other thing to keep in mind is that it's very slim. So it's not like the traditional 17 or even 18.5 inch laptop, which I had used years ago. It's not a heavy clunker, but it can operate essentially as a desktop laptop. So it is highly recommended. I've used MacBook I've used Razer, I've used Microsoft Surface, which is a laptop that I do really love dearly. Unfortunately, it just doesn't have the graphics capacity to be able to do any sort of advanced gaming or video editing and art. So the Samsung Ultra is really fixing all the problems that we see with all different other types of laptops. I think it's grossly underrated. I think that other laptop brands are really just paying a lot to inflate the reviews to get more publicity. So this is really flying under the radar. And I think what's really going to convince you to buy it is looking at it in person. Not necessarily the Ultra, but just look at some of the cheaper models and you'll see that stunning screen. And then once you can find a nice deal on Amazon or elsewhere, you got to snag this thing. It's great.